And here's part of the ad. It is titled The Wizard of Lies.
It's a miracle flower.
It's miracle pill.
Brand new miracle.
Do you believe that there's a miracle pill out there?
There's not a pill that's going to help you long-term lose weight and live the best life without diet and exercise.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
You may think magic is make-believe, but this little bean has scientists saying they found the magic weight loss cure for every body type.
Interesting ad, Kurt. How effective and potentially damaging do you think it is?
I think it's a very effective and creative ad, and this is about defining, this out-of-town tourist, Mehmet Oz, as for what he is. This is a charlatan TV doctor, basically. I mean, 30 Rock's Dr. Spuchemin's got more credibility when it comes to medicine right now than Dr. Oz does. He's out there, hawking magic pills and beans and roots, none of which do any of the things that he said he would. Like, this is a guy who knowingly gave out bad medical health diet advice to make a buck. It was all a grift. And I think that for voters in Pennsylvania who've never really probably thought about Dr. Oz in terms of a political context, this is a very effective way at branding him, at really getting ahead of the curve before the bell rings in the fall and defining him before he has a chance to define himself.
Well, Fetterman, on his part, he has really outraised Dr. Oz financially since late April. Fetterman has brought in $9.9 million compared to Oz's $1.1 million. Fetterman has 5 times as much cash on hand as Dr. Oz. Oz has certainly been trying to hit him for his 2-month absence from the campaign trail following that stroke. But, Adrian, fundraising would suggest Fetterman has not lost a step. Do you think it's an uphill battle for Oz?
Alex, I do. This is one race in the country where Democrats think that we can flip the Senate seat. And I think you're seeing this play out in real time. To the point that you just made, I mean, John Fetterman has been off the campaign trail for 2 months due to a stroke. I think it's, probably not politically savvy for Dr. Oz to be criticizing him for that. He's doing what the health and safety of his doctors tell him to do. And, of course, Dr. Oz claims to be a doctor, so he should know that if your doctor is telling you not to be on the campaign trail,
by the way,
you should be taking that advice.
He's a doctor. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the fact that he's hitting Fetterman on that is a little bizarre. Not the smartest tack. But Alex, you're seeing this across the country. Democrats are outraising Republicans in almost every top tier Senate race by not just a couple 100,000, but by 80-90%. It shows you where the momentum is. This is not something, even when that the president's numbers are where they are. This is quite a stark contrast because Democrats are doing very well in the generic ballot. You're seeing that play out in these Senate seats. And I think it gives these Democratic Senator candidates a real advantage. The one thing we do have to keep in mind, though, Alex, is we've got people like Peter Thiel and some of these very wealthy billionaires on the Republican side who are financing C4s to support Republicans. Sometimes you've got to keep bear in mind all of the money that's going to these races and be mindful of the fact that, we still have a lot of money on the Republican side.
Right. But Kurt, let me ask you, relative to Fetterman and not being on the campaign trail, at what point must he return? When would his absence become detrimental to winning in November?
Well, I think that he's started doing some of that. He's made some appearances more recently. He's did an interview with a local Pennsylvania newspaper. So he's getting back out there. But again, he's got to follow the advice of doctors. And that's the most important thing is to let the experts guide what he does in terms of his health. As long as he's out there by the time the fall campaign bell rings, I think he's going to be fine. And really, as we've seen, Dr. Oz has taken hit after hit after hit. Fetterman's absence from the campaign trail hasn't really hurt him, as we've seen from those fundraising numbers. And Oz is just taking in, so much water right now that, and there's a scenario where maybe Fetterman should just kind of lay low and let Oz keep going out there and making a fool of himself and hurting himself with voters.